that? Who's that? Who's this? Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hello. I've got my little buddy here. Can't see him, but he is around. Sat in the chair. Hi, buds. Should we turn this off? Oh, say hello, everybody. Oh, he's just there. See his ears. I might jump up. Here's Big K. Look, everyone. Tea. Sat on my chair. Happy birthday. Well, hello, everyone. It's Tuesday, the 13th, I think. Yeah, 13th of May, Tuesday. And guess what I'm stoked about today? Yeah, that's right. 28 years later. Now, 28 Days Later came out in 2002 by Danny Boyle and Alex Garland. And needless to say, I am thrilled that 28 years later is coming out 23 years after the original 28 Days. How do I know that it's 23 years? Because my darling daughter was born in 2002, 23 years ago. I have waited so long to see this fabulous film. It's absolutely fabulous film. Let's see. Let's get the volume right up. There we are, Monty. You having a nap? You're tired, aren't you? Yes. He's sleeping on my chair. He's such a cute boy. I can't wait. As the saying goes, take my money. I want tickets. I want to go and see it. I cannot wait to see it. It's a unique British film. This time it's set in Lindisfarne, right up on the Northumbrian coast. So they've been filming up there on the island of Lindisfarne. Now, what makes Lindisfarne so perfect as a survival community is it's got one way in and one way out, and half the time it's not accessible at all unless it's by boat, because the only way in and the only way out is by a causeway, and when the tide comes in, that's it until the tide goes out. You are effectively marooned and stuck on said island. Yes, what's not to like? But I'm wondering, is Cillian Murphy going to be in this new film? I hear Ranulph Fiennes is in, or Lord Voldemort, as he is more commonly known, and Jodie Comer is in. And I can only say good things about Jodie Comer because she's just a brilliant actress. You will probably know her best of all as Villain. Yes, the character Villain. And I'm just so excited. I just cannot wait to go and see it. I've seen the trailers this morning. Teletubbies. Starting off with Alex Garland, you are genius. Danny Boyle, genius. I always knew there was something shifty about Nunu. Right, now we know. Nunu is secretly harbouring the zombie apocalypse in the United Kingdom via CBeebies. You thought that grassy knoll was just where the Teletubbies went and hung out. You've not seen anything yet. No, the ultimate warrior. Or I dare anyone on Chat GTP or GPT, that's it, GPT, to make a zombie warrior Nunu from Teletubbies. That would be, that would be extra, man. Imagine how many toys would sell. Everybody would want a zombie warrior Nunu. Oh dear me. And I'm just trying to envisage the La La Ditsy Wipsy, Tinky Winky and all being, zombie warriors. I'd take my money. I'd pay good money to see that. Yeah, so the trailers are dropping, and I don't know. Are you as excited as I am? This is a very, very British zombie film. It's unique. And when I saw the fact that we're on Lindisfarne, the first thing I could think of was The Wicker Man with Edward Woodward and Christopher Lee and Britt Eklund. Being, thinking of it as an island and seeing all the sort of like skull, structures, like, sacrificial skull towers that they have. And all I'm thinking of all the time I'm looking at it is The Wicker Man. And it's because it's set on an island. And it's not like Summer Isle, where the fictional island up in Scotland Hebrides with the for the Wicker Man. No, this is Lindisfarne. And I just thought to myself, yes, that is the perfect place within the United Kingdom to go to. I have to ask the question, because I've always asked all questions regarding zombie apocalypse within the United Kingdom. And that would be, why is it everybody thinks we'll head north, we'll go up north? What makes you think it's going to be any better up here than it is, anywhere else? I mean, obviously we've got a lot of moorland up here, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around the fact that we could be doing Wuthering Heights with zombies. If they managed to get a Jane Austen book of Pride, Prejudice and Zombies, if you've not seen or read that book, do so. It's a treat. But I'm just trying to wrap my head around the fact that we've got Heathcliff and Cathy from Wuthering Heights reenacting a zombie apocalypse. I mean, what a premise for a novel. There you go, someone. I've given you a premise now to write an epic masterpiece. That's just what the Yorkshire hillside, we don't have hillside, we've got moorside all around us. Over our Yorkshire hills is mostly moorland. So there we are. Billy Roots, you've got the premise of Heathcliff, Cathy declaring their undying love to each other while the undying are running round the Yorkshire moors. Can you see a storyline here? I can. I'm giving you the premise of my mind. It's going to be epic. I'm pretty sure it will be. If there isn't already a book like that out there, then there should be. I can think of nothing better to attract people to the Bronte parsonage other than zombies. But yes, so I've seen 4 trailers this morning, and take my money. I cannot wait. It's on the list. I'll probably drag the youngest to see it because I can't imagine my eldest wanting to sit through it. But hey, if she's up for it, I'll take her and we'll go and see it. Because I remember watching 28 Days Later, having just had her, and you can't imagine me sat on the sofa taking care of the baby while watching something as epic as 28 Days Later. There I was doing that, recovering from the birth, of which was an incredibly horrendous birth. And it's a good job you can't remember giving birth, because if you did, you'd never ever have another child. Because I've had 2. And my first child, my eldest daughter, ripped me in half. And 26 stitches later, I was finally able to start my recovery. And my youngest child dislocated this leg. My entire leg jumped out of its hip socket. I'm not joking. It's a good job I was having pethidine, gas and air, and an epidural. And I remember the midwife saying, I've never seen that before. I'm like, what? What have you not seen before? I thought you'd seen everything. Right. She said my name and she goes, on the next contraction, whilst you push, I'll push. And she relocated my leg socket back into my hip socket. And my little girl, my second born, was born. And when you compartmentalize trauma, I think that's what I did with that one. I can't quite remember. I know she's here, but I can't quite envisage and remember everything that happened on that night. That night was a raging snowstorm. Remember my husband telling me he was coming down to the hospital in the middle of the blizzard, and he lost control of the car and went sideways round a corner. I know, right? And he got to the hospital and he was absolutely shaking, and I thought he was absolutely shaking because here we go, ding ding, round 2, child number 2 is on the way. And then he told me after everything that what had happened, and I said, oh my gosh. I said, are you all right? You must have been so frightened. He goes, well, fortunately, he said it was late at night because it was about 5 to 9 when I gave birth. So it was about, I would say, 8ish in the evening. And there wasn't a soul on the road because the snow was so deep. And he got through. And like I say, he went round a corner to drive down to the hospital, and he went round the corner sideways. Wow. Tell ya, it's never a dull moment in this house. But yeah. So after having darling daughters, my eldest, while I was in recovery mode, I was sat in the front room in one of the days, and I was watching 28 Days Later, and I loved that film. And then I watched 28 Weeks Later, and I love that film too. I mean, what's not to like? Zombies, marauding zombies across the United Kingdom. And here we are, 28 years later, going up the northeast. Why I? All the way to Lindisfarne to see the latest installment. Oh, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. And appropriately, I named this live 28 shirts later. Knowing my luck the way it is, when the zombie apocalypse starts, I'll miss it. Because here I am underneath the house, right? Because I actually work in, my house is built into the side of a hill. And where we are now, we are 6 feet underground. And I have no windows. The only access I have to any daylight is through the front door, which remains locked. It's solid oak with a tiny little window, and the only way I can monitor anything that's going on the outside is via my Ring doorbell. And apart from that, I wouldn't know what else is happening outside. Henceforth, that's probably why I would miss the zombie apocalypse. And I'd wander out after everything's done and everyone's been got, and be wandering over the moors of Yorkshire, where I live, wondering where everyone had gone. And it makes me honestly think about the zombie apocalypse. And in general, here's what I'll do. There we go. That's a bit better, a bit easier. And it just makes me wonder anyway about the zombie apocalypse and why everybody would want to just head north. And the only thought I could think of is we are much more open up here. We have a lot more countryside. We're a lot less compacted and lived upon. You know, we're not like London. London is very condensed. Everything is very close together. And I would say there's an awful lot more people live down south than there are that live up north. And Yorkshire being one of the biggest the biggest county of the United Kingdom, you know, I can understand the appeal of heading north. Or even, dare I say, to Wales. Because again, Wales is very quiet, very unassuming, and not densely populated. And also, the further you go north, the less it's populated. going all the way up to Northumbria, and then you're going even higher, and you'll be heading up into Scotland. And if you're heading all the way to the top of Scotland, you're going to end up in the Outer Hebrides, and and after that, you're going to be hitting the water. You're going to be going into the sea. And then your next stop after that will probably, if you buy boat, Canada. Yeah, would you go to Canada? Would you go out to like Norway? Yeah, you probably end up going out that way. And the further north you go, also, we're a lot colder up here than we are down south. And I can honestly attest to the fact that the storms that we get up here are way more brutal than they are down south. Look, take for instance where I live, a cute, tiny little village, very unassuming, beautiful in the summer, deadly in winter. If you are outside during a winter storm round here, it's not going to be long before the weather gets you. And that's not, like meant to put people off coming up here. It's just the way it is. We have, not too far from me, it'd be about 5 miles, if that, the highest point in the whole of the United Kingdom, and it's called the Summit, and it's the motorway point on the M62, and you can find it because we have a little farm by it called the Little House on the Prairie. And if you're ever listening to Radio 2, when they're doing the traffic report, when they talk about the Little House on the Prairie and that there's been an accident on the M62, that's where they're referring to, which is the Summit. And the Summit is the highest point in the United Kingdom. And it is also the windiest, which is henceforth why it's known as Windy Hill. Let's be original. We'll call it Windy Hill. So anyway, there we are. The Teletubbies have run amok, according to the latest on the trailer I've just seen this morning. And Nunu has gone full battle ready to fight the zombies. I couldn't make it up. And there's all these kids sat watching it, and the mum's saying to him, whatever you do, don't leave this room for anything. And I mean, I like Teletubbies. I love Teletubbies as much as the next person, but I don't think I could stay in a room all day and watch Teletubbies. It'd have to be pretty spectacular for me to have to do that. And I'm honestly, I'm looking at these kids in this trailer and I'm thinking, I bet they're thinking the same thing. And they're listening to all these noises that's coming from the outside of the front room where they're all sat around watching Teletubbies. And I've got to hand it to you, Alex Garland and Danny Boyle. That's just a next level genius, that is. Next level genius. And, they must be wondering what on earth their mother is doing outside. It's the most strenuous cleaning regime Arma's ever done. Poor woman. She looks as though she'd been eaten alive by the zombies. And hoping and praying to God that the kids are just distracted with the Teletubbies, obviously. And I just think that is such a genius level trailer. I mean, at that point you are saying, here you go, take my money, give me a ticket, I've got to see this film. And it's coming out on the 20th of June. I am so excited. I cannot tell you how excited I am. It's just going to be epic. It's one of those films that you have to see. If you're a fan, the 28-day, trilogy. And then, guess what else I found out? There are 2 graphic novels set in between 28 days and 28 years later. And I've only literally just found out about these. I didn't even know they existed. And I'm sort of looking around trying to find so that I can read it. I believe that there's 4 comics that were made. And I think one of them is a direct aftermath of the 28 days. One of them involved the Doctor. One involves a family. And then the final one is like the conclusion and brings everything together. And, if I can get a copy of that, wow, I would absolutely love it. I would adore it. Because I like graphic novels. I do. I've always liked them. And if it's anything to do with zombies, I take my money. Definitely sign me up. You've just said the magic word. You said zombies. And at that point, I'm like, yes, mate. Of course, I'm going to give you my money. I love the concept of 28 days later being a rage virus brought about by monkeys. Now, the only other monkey-style apocalypse that I've seen is Planet of the Apes. Is there another one that I'm not aware of? I don't know. But that's the 2 that I can think of. Is 28 days later, the rage virus with monkeys being in the animal testing laboratories. And Planet of the Apes. And I've just thought the 3rd. Bear with me on this one. Dustin Hoffman and Donald Sutherland in Outbreak about the capuchin monkeys. And I believe that the Motaba, trying to remember the name of the disease in Outbreak. Anyway, it's the one that liquefies you on the inside. And that brought about an apocalypse. So yeah, that's 3 that I can think of. Yeah. And in the form of books, I'm remembering The Virus by Stanley Johnson. And I've done a review on that. And that's about green monkeys bringing about I'm going to remember the name of the disease in a minute. Germany. I think place in Germany. Germany. Oh, no, brain's gone. Let me think. Marburg. That's it. The Marburg virus. In Germany. Named after the place in Germany, Marburg. And Stanley Johnson wrote about that. And who is Stanley Johnson? Well, Boris Johnson's father. And he wrote about a virus, it's called the virus, or the Marburg virus, if you want to get the copy from the 1980s. But hey, if you've got a copy of that book from the 1980s, you have got a very rare piece of literature, because there are not many copies of that left, and it attracts quite a pretty price as well. If you've got a copy, you're sitting on some cash there. Yeah, so anyway, that's what I'm looking forward to, is a monkey-induced rage virus. Just take my money. I honestly, yes, I cannot wait. 20th of June, we're going to find out exactly what went down, and if our Jimbalina from the original 28 Days, our Cillian Murphy, if he's going to be in. I have no idea. I do hope he will be. I'm holding on to that hope, going to the cinema to see Cillian Murphy reenacting the role of Jim, and hoping that he's kicking some zombie ass. Yes. But, haven't heard anything to the contrary that he isn't in it. But he was good. Oh boy. And you know what I love about 28 Days Later? It's just pure British. It's a proper British film. It's harder to explain. It's not like Zombieland with Woody Harrelson. All right, let me think about George Romero in Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead. Right, that's your trilogy, your first lot. It's genius, brilliantly written, brilliantly acted, with very unknown actors, and that's why it works, because they're not a well-known bunch of actors that are in it. They're just like your everyday, also around normal characters, which is why it works. And when you have an American film, you got the American budget, which is way bigger than what we have here in the United Kingdom. And therefore you can expect more special effects, better costume, design, special effects, writing, and just in general, you just expect a better film. And yes, you American darlings have got the original trilogy of the zombie apocalypse, right, from George Romero. But this is ours. This is Alex Garland and Danny Boyle at their best, making on half the budget that American films get, with not as many special effects. So we have to rely on, I would say, our acting skills, and less is more. We don't really get to see the zombies from the rage virus in 28 Days Later until quite a way into the film. It's hinted at, and it's sort of like darkness, and it's sort of shown in snippets, and that helps build the tension. I mean, there's nothing more stressful than trying to change a flat tire on a car in a tunnel with next to no lighting, with lots and lots of debris and broken cars and dead bodies lying all around you, right? And you